Here we are live. Here we are Friday and we're live again, guys. And today is the first day of summer of 2019. Wow, time flies. So while you guys are logging on, I just wanted to say hello to everybody. Welcome to your bariatric corner and our bariatric corner, because this is our bariatric corner. And I have an important topic for you today. Hey, Anjali and Alva, thanks for logging on here. And yeah, I titled this Keto to the Rescue. That's what I titled this video today, Keto to the Rescue. Sometimes I veer away from it because I don't want to talk about it every single week. I don't want you to get bored about this topic. It's such an important topic, right? I might go on a little bit of a rant today. Hi, Christy. But it's been a while that we've talked about ketogenic. So that's why I wanted to talk about it this week. You know, guys, it's like one of my very favorite topics. So you already know that I'm a low-carb nutritionist and that I believe in a low-carb ketogenic lifestyle, right? Hi, Randy. See you over here on Sunday. So like I said, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant today, so I want you to bear with me. I'm going to ask you a little bit about your habits and your ketogenic lifestyle. I think it's important. Nels Anderson, there he is. Hey, Lacey Waddle. Way to go, guys. Happy first day of summer. Here we are. So also I wanted to mention that we started a closed group for Dr. Verbunen's patients. And so Eric's going to put a link here. I sent too many friend requests on the last few days, and so I'm in Facebook jail right now. Yes, I'm behind lock and key and handcuffs. So whenever I get out of jail, I'll send some more friend requests more slowly, or some more invites to the closed group that we have. So here we're going. It's going to be a little bit quiet, the video today, because it's the first day of summer. Everybody's out there. Everybody's enjoying their time. And I find summer videos are a little bit more quiet, but it doesn't matter. If you're here and if you're watching this video, you're in the right place if you want to learn more about a ketogenic diet, more about the ketogenic lifestyle. The first question I wanted to start with was basically, how many of you tried the ketogenic diet, right? Give me a hands up if you've been on a ketogenic diet or if you tried a ketogenic before. Hands up emoji. And I wanted to know also, how many have you lost weight on the ketogenic diet? That's in my second question today, was how many of you lost weight. And then if your hands are still up that you tried it and that you lost weight, then the next question is going to be, how many of you have had a hard time staying on the ketogenic diet? Crystal. Okay, there we go. Yep, Lindy, hi. So those are the questions. How many of you have tried it? How many of you have lost weight on it? And how many of you have had a hard time staying on it? So hopefully today, after this discussion, those of you who have fell off are once again going to gather the strength to give it another try, right? It's not one of those things where, yeah, you tried it once and it didn't necessarily work perfect for you, so you're going to give up and never try it again. I want to renew your keto commitment today. That's super important for me. There's numerous reasons why, as a nutritionist, I want to light a fire inside of you. And I want to get you thinking about eating in a ketogenic fashion. So nobody comes to me asking me about keto because they want to lower inflammation in their body. That's just not why they ask about keto. Hey, Lisa, they don't ask me about keto because they want to lower inflammation levels, or they want to prevent age-related diseases. Let's face it. Hey, Lisa, they come to me and ask me about keto because they've stopped losing weight, or because they've had a regain. Hi, Jose. Or because they just never met their weight loss goals, and that's fine with me. That's fine with me, as long as they want to know about this other way of eating. I'm happy. It makes me really happy because I know the side effects. Not just weight loss, is going to change their way of thinking. So let's face it, keto right now, it's a fad word. We're so tired of hearing about it, but it's also a real way to eat, real food, and people experience fantastic results, right? The bottom line. What I'd like people to do over time is to stop thinking keto and start thinking low processed carbohydrates. I think that's the important key here. Valentina, hey. I think the more that we get I like this word, garbage. C-A-R-B, garbage. The more we get this food out of our diet, the better our health's going to be, because it's just not any real food there. So Eric just added a link here for the closed Facebook group. Any of Dr. Brunin's patients want to join it, request. And there's myself, Julie Skilling, and Jesse Martin are working as admins there as well. So hit us up and let us know that you want to join, and we will let you in our group. Where was I? I think that people feel better when they start to feel better after having this ketogenic type of diet. They start to understand really the amount of inflammation that was in their body when eating the standard American diet. Once they adapt to keto, I mean, who wants to go back to feeling bloated and depressed and tired? And when you start feeling better, flatter tummy, better energy levels, it starts to make sense. It just starts to make sense, right? So have I caught your attention today, right? How many of you guys are wanting to start over again and try this again? Let's face it, if you eat a hamburger and the bun is on it, do you just fall off the wagon all the way and just continue eating the rice and eating the pasta, right? We all fall down, but I just wanted you to really think about your keto commitment and try to renew it for you. I mean, me personally, I don't feel like going back to being chained to the refrigerator all day long because of the inability to regulate or stabilize my blood sugar levels, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information, arm you, help you remember why you wanted to start keto in the first place, right? I think keeping it simple is the key to success, and that was part of my rant today. I mean, the ketogenic diet is not a miracle, right? It's just good science, right? It's the science of using food as medicine, because that's what it is, right? Food's medicine. Hi, John. This is possible when people switch from the ultra-processed industrial diet that's making us super sick to a diet of real, whole, live, natural food. Jill, welcome. So being a bariatric nutritionist, I work together with surgery clients before and after surgery. And I can tell you, my people out there, Kelsey, these people, my clients, a lot of us have gone through a lot by the time they see me. You guys all know that. Following crazy diets, doing extreme exercise, like sitting on a spinning bike for 2 hours a day, or going to the gym for 3 hours, taking weight loss pills, which totally messes with your metabolism, and just beating themselves up over and over and over again. It's like a rinse and repeat, right? A constant rinse and repeat cycle. I mean, my clients tried everything. They're the professionals at losing and gaining weight over and over again. And who's to blame, right? Is it their fault? Did they do something wrong? Hi, Olga. I think if we want to put the blame somewhere, I think the blame belongs to a lot of bad advice that we've been given by a lot of people over a very long time. And it's just time that we change that, right? I think there's a lot of nonsense out there when it comes to the diet. There's like a keto sense, and there's complete and utter nonsense. And I see it on social media all of the time. I mean, if you could read some of the emails that I receive from clients, the anxiety that they feel is like palatable, right? It's like radiating out of the emails and out of the text messages because of the crap that we see on social media, like just plain garbage. I was telling my husband last night, I was telling him, you need to see actually, Eric, if you're watching, Nels is saying that the link doesn't work to the Facebook group. Thanks, Nels. I was telling my husband last night, Eric, you got to see what I'm reading over here on Facebook. it's just totally bashing, be careful about the ketogenic diet, because if you don't eat carbohydrates, you might die. And because of the lack of vegetables in the carbohydrate diet and the ketogenic diet, I'm like, when has there been a lack of vegetables in the ketogenic diet? I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all. I was getting a little bit irritated. I mean, I think that all of the fear people feel, part of it comes from the fact that we've made low carb and ketogenic diets just sound so much more complicated and complex and difficult than they really are. Hey, Monica. I mean, this way of eating, isn't it supposed to make your life better, like not worse? And isn't it supposed to make your life like easier and not so much more difficult? Just, I think when we allow ourselves and others to be convinced that this way of eating is so complicated and so difficult, that there's just so many layers to it that it just does the opposite. So many rules, it just does the opposite, right? I mean, people are just paralyzed right now with anxiety and confusion about what they're supposed to eat. I think it's analysis by paralysis is what's going on with a lot of my clients today. Sarah, welcome. I think some people are turning this keto way of life into something it just doesn't need to be, right? And I love to have a chance on my Friday, first day of summer, to sit here and just like set the record straight for you, right? I don't want any of your fears. I want to put any of your fears to rest, right? I want to put your mind at ease. Help you and help your friends see how easy it can be when you just let it be, like how uncomplicated this all can be when you just allow it to be, right? So, guys, want me to bash some keto myths here, right? What is it that scares you about the ketogenic diet? What is it that makes you think that it's not the right way for you? I'm curious to see what your fears are. If you can type them down here. I think it's the misinformation that's preventing people from taking advantage of a beautiful and very powerful way of eating, right? So, okay, of course, okay, most of what I'm talking about, I was really important, I had to remember to say this, is just general bariatric keto information, right? I'm speaking at a high level for most bariatric people. You as an individual may be dealing with a unique medical situation or a unique genetic problem or some type of life circumstance that by which some of what I'm saying doesn't apply to you. Sarah has a question. I'm concerned that it'll hurt my gallbladder. Good question, because you know why, Sarah? The gallbladder sits under the liver and it's like a little purse. When the liver makes bile, it puts it into the gallbladder, right? And so whenever we eat fat, the bile needs to be released in order to help break down that fat for you, right? So if you no longer have a gallbladder, so your body will regulate with time, right? And this is really important for you to understand. It's important. I have to tag Janice in this video. It says tag, great, she's been tagged. Hi, Janice. Okay, so it's important to know that if you don't have a gallbladder, there's things you can do. First of all, by starting slowly and not eating gobs of fat, right? First of all, we shouldn't be eating gobs of fat anyways, and that's something I want to discuss. Also, Sarah, what you can do is get yourself some digestive enzymes, ox bile. They're awesome. So that when you eat something that contains fat or is higher in fat, like avocado or cheese or cream or whatever it is that you choose to eat, that this is going to help you break that down, right? It'll take time, but your body will eventually adjust to it. And so, good question, Sarah. Thanks for letting me answer that question for you. So, any other questions out there? Did I answer the question okay? Selena, I'm here. Yay, Selena. I was trying to invite you to a group earlier, and I got locked in Facebook jail, so I couldn't invite you, but I will send you a link. You can join. Hey, Larry. Okay, so what I was saying was I just want you to understand that I'm speaking generally in the bariatric community, right? It's a general, it's not, like I say, there's unique snowflakes out there, and there's unique people with unique situations. Like Sarah, who's asking me, do you recommend using digestive enzymes anyways. Yes, I think there's a place for digestive enzymes. They're 100% natural. They're not like medicine. All they do is help support you so that you're able to better digest your food, right? It's like, for example, I can't eat beans. They hurt me. They seriously hurt me. So what do? Not eat them ever? If I want to eat them, I will take Beano, a digestive enzyme. It's 100% natural, and it'll help me break that, eat it, right? Some people, if they want to drink milk, they take enzymes to help them break down the milk because they don't have those enzymes. Or when people have acid reflux, right? It's a lot of foods that they're having problems breaking down. They'll take a digestive enzyme. You don't have to live with them forever like a crutch, but during a few weeks, use them for a period of time and see if that helps you. Eventually, everything will work itself out, right? But you're supporting your system to better do its job. So, hey Sheri, Selena, cool. So it's like, just to understand that I'm speaking generally in the bariatric community, based on the clients that I've worked with for over a decade now, and based on observations and the understanding of the nutritional research for low carbohydrate and ketogenic diets. I'm not trying to pretend like I have all of the answers, right? And you know what, I don't. And sometimes you might ask me a question here and I might not have the answer, and I'll tell you, you know what, that's a good question, and I'm going to find the answer, and I'm going to give it to you. Some of the facts that I do feel extremely confident about. I think, oh, Sarah, would you say that dirty keto is better than no keto at all? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm kind of on the fence about that. Okay, she says here, I don't know if I can stick to all the strict rules. Oh, okay, so I love your question. The question is really good. I'm going to actually answer your question in a little bit because there's a little bit of a build-up to it. Yeah, I do think that sometimes a dirty keto might be a little bit better than no keto. For me personally, for a lot of my clients, because I deal with a lot of insulin resistant issues, right? And that's another matter. I think that there's definitely a place for it. I think that that things are being misinterpreted in the keto world. So where can I start? I'm going to start with a story, okay? Okay, I don't know if you guys read this, but I wrote a blog post not long ago, and it was intended to remind people how easy and uncomplicated low carb, I use those words, low carb really is. I specifically used low carb when I wrote that blog because I think that somewhere along the way, low carb became a dirty phrase, right? It became passé. It became like old news. Everyone was bored of hearing about low carb. Everybody wants to be keto today, and all you hear is keto, keto, keto. And you know what? That's great. Clearly there's a place for a strictly ketogenic diet. But when we tend to emphasize keto or ketogenic rather than low carb, then I think this is really what is driving a lot of confusion, fear, anxiety about this way of eating. Hey Keisha, thanks for joining. Because when you say ketogenic, that's what makes people think that they need to panic, measure their ketones, pee on a ketone stick. They need to load everything up with fat, as much fat as possible. They need to make a deliberate effort to remain in a state of ketosis all of the time. It's like a military thinking, rather than just following this beautiful low-carb diet. I mean, sometimes I think that some or a lot of us low-carb or keto professionals, we've done this to ourselves, right? This is our fault because we've used that word ketogenic just a little bit too much. We haven't given enough airtime to that word low carb. So the blog that I wrote was in celebration of Dr. Atkins, right? Dr. Atkins wrote his first book in 1970 or 1972. That's like more than 40 years ago, right? That's like a really long time ago that Dr. Atkins came out with his first book. And I said in the blog post, what was the wording? I dare say nobody has done much to improve upon it since then. I mean, I'm not saying that Dr. Atkins was right about everything. Of course he wasn't, but he covered he didn't cover every nuance, right? But it was perfect. I mean, in the terms of getting people to just get started with this way of eating, right? What a champion. Dr. Atkins had no limit on protein in his book, right? He celebrated and thought it was perfect and allowed people to enjoy heavy cream, butter, and fatty meat. I mean, he was just like the pioneer in this field. There was no fear of fat on an Atkins diet, right? But there was also no emphasis on adding gobs and gobs of extra fat to your food, right? It's kind of answering your question, Sarah, kind of getting to your question. He didn't say that people need to add gobs of fat in order to reach some super high ketone level, okay? The big thing with the Atkins diet was just to keep carbs low, right? No emphasis on adding fat to everything or deliberately restricting yourself on a protein intake. So, Sarah, I tried eating keto low carb, but no matter how hard I tried, when I peed on the ketones, when I keep on the ketone sticks, I couldn't get into that ideal state of ketosis because I wasn't seeing results after 7 weeks. I threw up my hands. I'm eating low carb, but no longer losing. Okay, so we know what it is then. It's time for you and I to sit down, go over your food log, make me a 3-day food log. I want to dig in really deep to your food log to see where we can make improvements so that you can get back to losing again. Let's do this. Hi, Jared and Skyla. Skyla, do it. Hey, I'd love to give you a hand there and get you back on track again, Sarah. Do some macronutrient balancing and help you out here. I'm going to go back to them. Anybody else want to say anything? I'm talking a lot today, right? We're really getting into it. No, Sarah, I'm really happy to help you. Super happy to give you a hand or a push. And just to review, sometimes I can see something in your food logs that you just don't see, right? And I can, like a lot of, for example, just let's take coffee, for example. I mean, we still have to realize that it does have a little bit to do with not complete calories in, calories out, but like coffee, let's take a look at a spoon of creamer. Who uses a spoon of creamer in a cup of coffee? I don't. Glug, 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 right? A quarter cup of cream in the coffee. Let me have a look at your food logs. Hey, Ashley. Here's Sarah Barstone. Any other questions, guys? Okay, so I'm going back to the blog that I wrote. I wrote the blog about Atkins was because people were confused, right? And they're kind of overwhelmed with so much conflicting information out there. They just couldn't see the forest through the trees, right? That's why I brought it back to low carb, low carb. I just find that people get so worried about details and the minutia that they don't even take the first step. I like what Sarah's saying because even if the ketogenic, she didn't stay on it because she was frustrated with it. What she did do was stay on board with the low carb style of eating. Hey, Chelsea. Hi there. Over in Luskville. So the first step, right, was that Atkins wanted people to do was get the sugar and starch out of their diets, right? Just get the sugar and starch out of your diet. So super simple. When Atkins wrote his first book, there were no at-home pea sticks or ketone sticks. There were no, blood testing at home, so simple. The MCT oil wasn't commercially available at that time. There were no fat bomb recipes that everybody was eating when Atkins came out with his first book, right? Hey, Sheri. People did great, right? They did great just by reading one book. All that mattered was keeping carbs low. That was the only thing that mattered. I mean, I'm not saying there's not a place for measuring ketones or having an occasional fat bomb. That's totally appropriate in some situations. But nobody needs any of that to get started to stay in a low carb or on a ketogenic diet. They just don't, right? If you want to spend your money on that and it makes your life more convenient to do it by all means, right? But that's not what makes this diet effective. What makes this diet effective is low carbohydrate intake. I mean, that's it. So when we say today ketogenic, people think, like Sarah, that they need to be chasing these really high ketones, or they fast, right, for long periods of time in order to, get rid of all of the glucose in their body, or they add a lot of extra fat to their diet, or who knows what they do to chase these high ketone levels, right? For most people dealing with a metabolic issue, and you're very welcome, Sarah, particularly one stemming from high insulin, whether it is, let's talk about insulin, high insulin, obesity, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, cardiovascular disease, PCOS, gout, hypertension, erectile dysfunction. Like, these are real things, real issues that occur from high insulin. Hey, Stacy, the reason these things improve once people start a low-carb diet is because of lower insulin levels and lower blood glucose. It's not because of high ketones. Let's say that again, right? The reason these people and these issues improve is not because of it's not because of high ketones, okay? It's because they're lower insulin and lower blood glucose. We have to remember that. That is seeing the forest through the trees. That's what we have to remember. I'm almost done here, guys. I think I said everything I wanted to say. But if you take nothing away from this video, I think that there's one thing that I really want you to understand today, and that is high ketones. That's not the answer here, having high ketones. When you pee on that stick and it doesn't turn dark, dark, dark purple, that's not a bad thing at all. That's not a bad thing at all. We shouldn't be chasing these levels of ketones. The reason this is effective is mostly because, guys, I love all the love that you're giving me. I love that. The reason it's effective is because most of the metabolic issues that it corrects hyperinsulinemia. So what does that mean? Hyper, high, insulinemia in the blood. That's what it corrects. So I think we just need to work hard to learn about, call it low carb if you like that word better, and ketogenic lifestyle. I mean, let's learn more about reading labels and dig into carbohydrate counting. Okay, so one of my clients this week, real sweetheart, she texted me and said, did you know that a mandarin has 12 grams of carbohydrate in it? And I was like, yeah, and who eats only one, right? They're like this big, right? I mean, who's going to eat one mandarin? I'm going to eat like 3 mandarins, right? So is that 12 grams of carbs? That means it's the equivalent of 3 teaspoons of sugar, because what happens is when you eat it, converts to glucose. Carbohydrates can convert to glucose, right? So if we're eating two or 3 mandarins, that's like a lot of sugar, right? That's just a tiny example of how much there is to learn about this low carb way of eating. And we're not going to learn it all in one day, right? It's going to take time. It's going to take you wanting to learn more about it. Anyone have any comments before I get off of my video here? Been talking a lot. Been talking to 28 minutes. Wow. I just want you to take charge, take control, take back what belongs to you. That's like excellent health, physical health, mental health. Guys, basically it's low carb for the win. That's what I want to say, and have a really good weekend, right? I'm going to reach out to, if anyone wants to make any comments or anybody wants to talk to me one-on-one, I'm here. I'm behind my desk. I'm happy to answer any questions. Reach out to me anytime. And summer's finally here, right? Yay! Finally, we survived, or it's here. Have a great first day of summer, and I'll see you next Friday. I'm going to continue a little bit more on this topic as well. Bye, guys.